Hello, it is Monday evening. I am in phase 2 of new driver training with Schneider. So I've done 1 week, just about in 1 day here training. We did driving today and some backing. Some city driving, went a little bit on the interstate and lots of turns. We practiced some button hook turns, which on the CDL test we're not allowed to use them, but in the real world of driving there are turns that require a button hook if you don't want to hit curbs and other objects in the road. So we were working on some of those, and also just some of our normal everyday driving and maneuvers, especially turns, watching our tandems, making sure we're not putting ourselves or especially anyone else at risk while we drive around. The first week most of the first week of training here was spent in classroom work, or I don't know, that might not be fair. There was a lot of classroom work, but we also went out to the yard a bunch and worked on coupling and uncoupling in our pre-trip, and those each had a test we had to do test out of that phase. But then there were also a lot of videos to watch and a couple of presentations, and so we got all that done. This training is somewhat self-paced. Different people are progressing through the video program at different speeds, and there is allowance for people to speed up or slow down as they need for many of these aspects, which I think is very real and good. There's allowance for that. I think Schneider's realized it's in their interest to encourage drivers to succeed when they can succeed, and not put artificial barriers of either rushing people or delaying people when they don't need to be. So that's really good. I am encouraged and hopeful by what I've seen so far. I am cautiously optimistic in what working for this company might be like once I get out of training. It is looking fairly good for my chances for getting through. I think as long as I pay attention and follow directions, which I've been doing already, there shouldn't be any reason why I can't pass through the program and get on to a training. I forget what exactly it's called, but I will be out with another type of instructor for another week or so. In a little bit, once I pass this, I think there might be 1 or 2 phases more left to do here. It feels a bit accelerated, but it's basically it's just not wasting your time. We've got things to do. It is a lot of things to do, but we're definitely getting through them, and it feels good. What I was starting to say is, I am hopeful that this is a company that operates more closely to its ideals than some others that I've worked for before. I'm not talking about trucking companies. This is the first trucking company I'll be working for. Well, I guess one of the other companies, what you might consider a trucking company, but I wasn't driving. I was in a warehouse. And I've been in companies where they have the training and then they have what actually needs to happen because they don't have any procedures in place to make allowances for the reality of what is really going on. And so all of their training just goes by the wayside and people just have to do what they have to do to get through the day. So I am a person, I do like to follow directions and do things right. And I think in trucking, it seems important to me. I'm getting a more refined view of it. Obviously I've only just been in training, and so I don't know the full ins and outs, but I get this feeling of being in an industrial setting that it's a big difference from driving a car. I think one of the big things for me that makes the biggest difference is how much damage I could do to somebody else with a machine like this. Most of what I could do if I made a mistake in a car, most of the kinds of accidents I could cause are very survivable with all the airbags and seat belts and crunch zones and all the improvements to safety equipment and response times and all that. I think it's still possible, but not nearly on the same level. Or you'd have to make several very terrible errors to really cause the kind of damage that we can do in these trucks. Sometimes, I mean, they're just so big, and they can be so heavy that a minor mistake can have very devastating outcomes. And we're sharing the road with people that haven't gone through the kind of training that, like, you would expect if somebody was among this kind of machinery in another line of work. Anyone to get out on the factory floor or to be anywhere near these machines, normally people would have to take some type of training, even if they weren't using them. But in this case, I mean, you can look at it from both ways. On the one hand, it's like, the public is in an industrial area, kind of unaware sometimes. It seems like they haven't been impressed with the I don't know, the impact or the severity of what an accident with these machines can be like, and how difficult it is actually. I think we all take for granted, or I did, how many accidents don't happen. How most of the time, most of the drivers get through their days without causing any real trouble. It's actually not as easy as it looks. I'm sure that, I mean, with years of experience, a lot of truckers have gotten accustomed to their turns and their awareness and all the things they do to keep the truck in the right lane where it needs to go. but it's actually quite a lot of paying attention, quite a lot of doing the right thing at pretty close to precisely the right moment. So there's that way of looking at it, but then there's also the way, I mean, in one way, you could look at it from the public's perspective, and it's an industrial operation that has come out into the public area. And so either way, one way or another, we're sharing the road in kind of two purposes, and these roads are made for interstate commerce. So it is fitting that they be used to transport goods the way that they are, but it is kind of, it's just a different kind of a thing that's going on. It's not just like driving a car. So I'm feeling that I am getting good training. I hope that this company lives up to its what I've heard and seen so far in the training on how important safety is to them, and the procedures that allow space for that safety, allow us to make good decisions, and help provide even more training to help with our decision making process, and just giving really good guidelines for safety. I hope that all actually plays out the way that it sounds like it should once we get on the road. So I'll have to see how that goes, and I guess I'll provide further updates when I have more information. I'll see you all later.